Okay, so we're starting with Klallim of Rashi from the Mavo HaTalmud. Rashi Omer can the Farish Vazil, as the will explain. Who Margish Rashi, the Rashi senses. Yeah, I think it says Margish, not Margish. Yes, he senses Shloish Kadesh Tavorbo. So Inyan, that nothing has been said new yet in that matter. That he doesn't come to say something novel. He's going to explain it as an expansion. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see if we can find an example of HaNaggid and Mefarish for Azil. Second. You still see my screen?
Yes, I can.
I'm getting Rashi and Chumash. Don't want Rashi and Chumash. No, I'm saying if that's wrong. Okay, so okay, let's take this example. I'm not sure to bring up the Gemara at the same time, but no, it's not good. Show the other one. Berachos based on Aleph. Okay, so this sound based on base. Okay, so it's Snir Shor Itzi B'cha. So here. David said, I said to kill you, and there was Rachmanos on you. It had Rachmanos. Vamar to me, boy. Actually, it said, it said, it says, it said, say, I said. I'm Rabbi Lezer, I'm Rabbi David Lisho, Mina Torah ben Harigas. I mean, I see your chaymis. It's a Ray Rodefata, you're a Rodef. I'm Rabbi Lezer, go. The tznius which you had was had mercy upon you, not me. I didn't want to have to kill you. The Torah said to kill you. I didn't want to have mercy on you. The Torah said to have mercy on you. And that Rashi says here, he went into the cave in order to then his needs for tznius. And there also he was noid but tznius can the Farish Bazil like it explains. So I guess I don't understand exactly how the Baal Klallim is explaining that, but it seems to me that the understanding is that at this point you can't understand the meaning, the ramification or the connotation of this statement, right? And therefore, the Gemara has to go on and say, and Tana Gadol name begin Gadol Mara. Okay, so it goes on to explain what exactly the Kiddush is. The Kiddush is not at this point, but that's not what he doesn't seem exactly what he says here, because he says also Inyan. I don't know why that's true. It seems to be the opposite. It seems that he is saying Kiddush. Because we don't understand the Kiddush right away. So therefore we have to give an explanation to it. So I'm not sure I agree with this cloud. When difference in Rashi says B'Gemara Mefarish, the Gemara explain it, which he normally says in the Mishnah, obviously. Can Farish Basil. It goes on to explain. The Shama Farish Mar Tomash Abba Gemara Hushapirash Inyan Lo Balho Kimta. Okay, so in other words, the Gemara's editors are going to explain, not necessarily the person who made the statement, but the Gemara itself is going to explain. Like we'll say, the stomach of the Gemara is going to explain. It means that the person who made the statement himself goes on to explain. Because the Kasher Rashi here gives kushia, there's all Rashi felt the difficulty. Imu Baal Kimto Baal Gemara. In other words, he felt that it'd be difficult. It's not easy for the reader to ascertain who's giving the explanation, the person who made the statement, or the Gemara, or the generic Gemara. Therefore, he said when he says Kim Farsh Asil, it's like this person went on to explain. The same person in Berachos. Look. Yeah. See, Amar Rabbi Elazar. Oops. So Klallim Rabbi Elazar. It's head of Tachtecha. Gadam El Adom. Amar Levecha Tochasolav. So Rabbi Elazar, right? So this is Rabbi Elazar explaining, and also down here Rabbi Elazar, right? So can first they're all statements of Rabbi Elazar, and one is coming to explain the other, right? Like he himself is explaining. Where it's Dharma the Gemara, where it says Kinnan Farish Gemara. That's just saying that when it's the same, Baal Kimto is doing it, and it says that's him. Hashlishi. Sharotza Lamar Shabal also Kimto Elo B'daito Mashomer Basof. When he wants to say that the person, like Rabbi Elazar here, had in mind to begin with what he says at the end. He didn't come up with this Kiddush because of a question. You Shikshuneh was something I asked up on him. HaNaggid Kovitz Lachshos, but his opposition jumped up to ask the question. But the Baal Kimto is explaining what he meant to begin with. Gamze Machmas Kushya. Also, this comes a question. This has a question. What was he thinking? Is connected, and you see the question opposite him. So he's saying that the third place where Rashi says Kim Farsh was here. So I guess you know what? It's not a question because I realize he's giving me three choices as to what Kim Farsh means, and the place we saw is really the third type of Kim Farsh. Right? The first second Farsh means that he didn't say anything. We have to go on and see what he says next, right? Second one is in between where he explains it or the Gemara explains it. Verse Kim Farsh Gemara. And the third place where we do this Kim Farsh is where there's no explicit question, but an implicit question. What exactly is going on here? So then he's thinking in Farsh that to tell you that you know that whatever implicit question here is going to be resolved.
Okay.
Those are all manifestations in the Farsh Faz. Okasab, Sharash Umer Bitmiya. Yesh Arba Drachim. There are four ways of understanding when Rashi says Bitmiya. In other words, he says the phrase of the Gemara is said in astonishment.
Or as a question.
Right. Okay. Ha'echad shenishmar minichusa. Shenishmar.
Shekeshamar.
Sheshamar.
Shenishmar. No, I read it wrong.
Shenishmar. Don't say that the statement is supposed to be read as a calm statement, meaning as a just a statement in of itself, but rather it's a question.
Mhm.
Okay? Sometimes it means it's a really strong question. The opposite. It's just a small source of confusion. And the fourth one is that when he wants to show where the question begins or where the question ends. So right bitmiya as to connote the beginning or end of the question.
Okay.
I think it is Kasav Shabbat Kusha Achas Shubaloshin. He comes to answer a question in the language. When Amora repeats a statement, I don't know what he calls it Gzera, to ask a question from it. Yesh Lomar Lamora Ahu Shechazaras Hagzera Him Yuseres. Yesh Lachshos, actually. I can ask why repeating the statement. He has to let him just ask his question. Why does he have to repeat himself? The Taritz Rashi Tireshu B'Tmiyah. You'll see that it's an astonishment. He said by repeating the language, he's emphasizing how difficult the question is. Like that's the astonishment. The Rashi is telling you, B'Tmiyah means a strong question is right. So the ba is since repeating the statement, that is saying, boy, this is so shocking that you should say something like that.
Okay.
Okay. That's the case. It's not extra language. It's not just repeating himself in the front of repeating himself. It's in order to show that the statement is quite astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we also write Shomer Rashi Uparich. And the one asks, or Umushani, the one answers, Yesha Mushu Kamo Vahainu. So as if he wrote Vahainu, which in English, I guess we write as IE. So my Vahashto, if to see, based on what I have written, explained, Asi Shapir works out well, Hada Parkmara, that which more asks, or Hada Mishani. That's more his answers. Kachif Rachti Farish came. That's why I have to explain it this way. Dila Pirush HaTaisvis, or Pirush.
To call the Farish.
To the call Farish Basud, Svarami Bachutz, Kasha. I don't know why the Tosfos comes in here. Yes, Rashi Tosfos are arguing, or according to some other Svara, it would have been difficult, and therefore, Rashi says, based on my interpretation, you can understand Uparich or Mashani. Okay, that's interesting. Yes, Mishul Hefech. Some say the opposite. She'll question Perish Rashi. That Rashi says Uparich Mashani we had a difficulty. Even though I don't understand why he's asking the question, or how he's answering the question. Yes, yes, which is an implied critique of the Gemara. That the Gemara doesn't seem to make sense, right? Doesn't seem to be a good question. Doesn't seem to be a good answer. Nevertheless, this is what the Gemara is answering. People say that Uparach Mishani can mean either one. In other words, it can mean either that. Based on what I said, you can understand the question very well, right? In other words, or the answer very well, or else saying, no, we don't understand the answer very well or the question very well, but this is what it must be.
Okay.
the main thing is that when Rashi's, according to his power, when Rashi says Uparach or Mishane, it's not just that he's explaining that the Gemara is about to give a Torah, so the Gemara is about to give an answer, a question. That's partial. He's saying something else, something deeper. He's saying it's not simple to ask, or it's not simple to answer, or it's or this is according to interpretation. It's a question, or interpretation. It's an answer. This is what I always thought. It says the Parach Mishani. I mean, it's the same guy. The guy asks a question, right? The guy made a statement. He asked. The guy made a statement. He answers, right? Uparich means not Rashi not referring to his difficulty or ease of interpreting. So he's saying that the person in Sugya who asked the question also gave the answer. The person who made the statement also asked the question. It says in plural, then it is the stomach of the Gemara who's doing it, not the original, person who posed the question. That's okay. That's interesting. That requires analysis. It's not only Rashi's derech, it's places. Places says me Taimar. Rashi doesn't say me Taimar.
Occasionally he does, very rarely.
Right, so that's his point, right? So when he says it's Omer Darsheni, you have to figure out why he's saying it. What's going through his mind? Maybe Damkin Shiksha Rashi, that's Omer Kushya. Rashi himself says the question, Shamargish Kushya Acheres. He feels there's another question. That's interesting. Okay, so Rashi, Rashi obviously comes usually to address internal difficulties, not external difficulties. If Rashi points out that ask a question, right? He means that by the answer I'm going to give you, you should be able to understand the answer to any external questions. It's kind of like fending off a thesis, right? He's saying, Taisa would ask an outside question. Rashi's saying, I'm going to give you a simple meaning here. And basically, you understand, based on understanding, you're going to be able to understand why any other question is not a question.
Okay.
O Pirish Moriksha, Omer Rashi, Lo Garsina. Says, don't read the Gemara this way.
You skipped.
Sorry. Okazab Omer Rashi, the Ha Asher, the Ha. He says the Ha. Or Asher, Yored indicates Shabbalah states Tam Perusha. He's giving me a reason for his interpretation. He's safeguarding himself from a different logic. Which I could have said. Also Tam Dochuk. Since that reason, the reason is difficult. But Rashi Shalo Mibnei also Tam Piresh, Masha Piresh, and Mishum Daha. And evidently what Rashi is, the Yiddish word for it is bavorning, is precluding. But what Rashi is precluding, he's coming to preclude by saying Daha or saying Asher.
Okay.
No, I messed that up. No. Rashi Daha, not Asher separately. It says Daha, Asher Yored, this indicates. Okay. The word Daha indicates that he could have given another shot. But that shot is not a good shot, right?
Okay.
This is the reason, and not the other reason which one could possibly give. Okay.
So when you see a daha, you're supposed to try and figure out what other reason he was trying to avoid.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's saying. Let's see if we can. Oops. So what to do? So we're getting Berachos here. Let's see. Me plea Rabbana Allah, or Rabbana argue, the army at Chatzos. No, that's something else. It's the ha. But I'm not sure what the army at Chatzos dafka coming. No mashka will be shiva cause much evidence. Maybe the daha means that saying ad chatzos is not enough to say. I don't know how it fits into here. Let's try another one. Somebody say Aviva Emo Chiva so Loi Tamalo Ham. It's about Kohen Gadol. The Kulu on the Nazir, right? Nazir Kohen Meir Shem Al Demashes Nevos Aviva Emo Chiva so Loi Tamalo Ham. The Kulu Bichlal Al Nefesh Meis Lo Yavo. Uamayatsu. That's. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's contradicting anything apparent. I don't know about this one. Sorry. So we're going here.
Okay.
Okay. Guess you have to find a real daha in order to figure it out. I know. Okay. Opir Shmuel Morik, Shomer Rashi Logasina. It just says, don't move here this way. But ain't no see time, that's a good reason. Yesh Girsa Shlishis. It doesn't mean there's only one, another alternate Girsa is coming to reject. Those are third Girsa. Rashi Shlo Bali Shlo Osar Girsa. The third Girsa, I'm not coming to reject. By Anamakum, it's clearly incorrect. Avabal Shlo Girsa Shemazkir. But he's coming to reject the girsa he mentions. So he has to figure out what the third girsa would have been and how Rashi would have rejected that. Because the reason why I'm changing girsa, he doesn't say the other girsa is incorrect. He's going to say the reason for the girsa which he's saying. Okay, you really have to see the example inside, but it's a really powerful contention. Rashi says logo seen without giving a reason. He means this girsa. I have to tell you not to be goris. The third girsa you should be able to figure out on your own. It's practically like a prophecy in Rashi's words. Okay. I'm skeptical. Rashi lefichach ufichach zeh fuki perish acher. It's going to preclude a different approach, which will not lead up to this halacha which he wants to produce. If there's no perish from you, he's going to have to figure it out. So the Ficho comes to tell you that there is an alternative, but will not lead to this conclusion. Then the reason I'm giving a pshat which I gave is because this is the only pshat which can lead to this conclusion.
Okay.
Rashmer mashma, alma, it seems, or I'll say, let me say, it's not compelling. You can reject it. Okay, so he said when he says mashma or alma, it's not definitive. It's a premise. But it may actually be rejected. Okay, so I'm a Rashi inami, there's iboy sema. This is also true about this. When Rashi is given inami, it means the first interpretation is not great. The second interpretation is also not great, but it covers a base which the first one doesn't, and vice versa.
Mhm.
So you have to figure out then why you have to say inami. What was the flaw in the first answer? You have to come and say inami. In Rashi so that's the case. Let Rashi leave out the first answer, right? If you don't want to change, just say the second answer, the second interpretation. Since the second one only comes because the inadequacy of the first one. We need both of them. And we only want to study on the basis of understanding a configuration of both interpretations. Sometimes the inami is just like icing on the cake. Really, the first shot is the primary shot. Second one's just thrown in to be like strengthen it. So it could be two exact, potentially opposite reasons. One is that Rashi feels there's a flaw in the first interpretation, that's the second interpretation, and the other feels there's no flaw in the first interpretation, and the second interpretation is just giving, because if I know two interpretations, I might as well give them to you.
Okay.
Anytime we learn, we try to learn it the first way. Rashi Klallim. He says something is Klallim. I guess he's trying to say whatever is said there could be individual or partial or specific, and therefore he says kolel in order to know that it's general. Rashi is a Mishnah Brayso Meima, but that Kashile has difficult on it. Zomer, as it says, Ava B'chein, Avagav Shemema, he read the Kashile Yeshon Taretz Kach. So Rashi is saying that even though there's a difficulty, I will now explain away the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll stop here for today.
Okay, sure.
All right. Speak to me, Mr. Hashem, next week. Take care. Have a Freilich and Purim.
Thank you. Same to you.
Goodbye.
All right. Take care.